Hello friends, welcome back to the Itsy Guitar YouTube channel. We're here with the Fender Vibroverb, and we're basically done with the amp. I did a demo already of the amp through the JBL speaker. If you're curious to hear how it sounds, go ahead and check the link in the description. But there's still a few little odd ends I wanted to complete before the owner picks the amp up. And while we're doing the work, I thought this would be a good opportunity to do a test I've been really curious about for a long time. And that is whether the plate resistors really affect the tone or not, specifically the resistor type. So you'll notice these gray resistors forming a V here, here, and here. And these are your plate resistors, plate load resistors, and they are metal oxides. So you'll see they look very different than the kind of brown resistors all over the rest of the amp. Those are carbon comps. So this would have been originally carbon comp resistors, but the previous tech at some point swapped those. Why you would do that? Potentially these resistors, because they have high voltage on them, they can drift value-wise. So you might do it because of that. These are also supposed to be lower noise and just more stable than a carbon comp. So, you know, if that's the case, why doesn't everybody swap every resistor with those? Well, that's a good question. And I've read plenty of discussion on the internet, but I've never heard it for myself. So I'm curious, in these positions, specifically in this amp, the plate resistors, does it matter? Does it change the tone in any meaningful way? Yes or no? So I figured, let's just test it real quick. So I think what we'll do is we'll just swap all of these. We'll do a pair at a time. We'll probably just start here because I'm assuming this probably would have the most effect on tone. And as we go down, maybe not. We'll see. Well, actually, these would be for the normal channel, so this won't really affect things if we're just playing the vibrato channel. But I think what I'll do is I'll lay down a loop with it just stock like this. And maybe I'll start from this side. I'll decide once I get to it, but we'll lay down a bass loop so that we have kind of a reference point, and then I'll swap the plate resistors in a pair, and we'll compare and contrast in the video edit later. So I'm really curious to see, and yeah, let's get started. Well, I am super curious to hear what that sounds like back in the editing room. I've really no idea if there's a difference or not. To be honest, there's too much of a time gap between me installing resistors and the playing to be able to really reliably tell for sure whether there was or wasn't. My first thought after doing these three pairs of plate resistors with carbon comp, I felt like it was a little less harsh maybe. But man, yeah, just too hard to tell from that perspective. I really got to listen to it side by side. And that's what you guys will have just done. So let me know what you think in the comments, what you heard. I'm very curious myself. And last little bits we're doing to the amp. So I'm adding in the artificial center tap here. So 2 100 ohm resistors going off of the heater supplies here, the two different ones going to ground, just using this ground at the bias supply. And we need to lift up this green and yellow wire right here, which is the center tap. So we're just creating an artificial center tap, and we'll keep the red and yellow here still. And then we'll rehit this solder grounds, rehit the chassis grounds and the brass plate grounds one more time with the big iron, just to be completely sure they're solid, and then we're done. So yeah, thank you so much for sticking around with this project. it's been really fun. What a treat, right? To get to work on an amp like this. Not something you you get every day. So really, really pleased. Let's see if we can just pull out this one right here. And they're connected together. No big deal. We can undo that. Cool. So that looks good. And while we got the big iron hot, we'll go ahead and just hit this ground connection for the bias supply as well as our artificial center tap one quick time. Fantastic. Okay, I feel very confident in those ground connections. Got the artificial center tap. Let's go ahead and grab a heat gun and block this off. Hit those last joints there. We're good. Simple as that. Always put a little crimp on the end there so it is sealed away. No potential for that shorting out or grounding out. Now let's go ahead and hit these last little brass plate ones. You won't really be able to see that, but that's okay. And just like that, we are all done with the amplifier. Just so cool to have such a rare amp in the workbench here. Really, really pleased with how everything came out. Again, I did already demo this amp, so I'll put a link in the description for that. Put it up in the corner of the video now if you're curious to hear how it sounds. That was pre-plate resistor swap, but I was pretty confident I was going to have a very minimal effect on tone, if anything. So yeah, I didn't really worry about it. And to be honest, I got to time those demo videos perfectly because I've got a baby in the house. So I can't just blast amps all the time, unfortunately. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments and subscribe for more. Until next time, see ya.